in LA this week.
This is not only the biggest budget I've ever had the honor of signing as mayor, it's the most progressive, with a total commitment of $1 billion going towards justice and opportunity and the long, hard work of correcting systemic inequities in our past.
The responsibility is shared for us to help create the kind of environment that we are all proud of.
We decided to activate the space because Hollenbeck Park is actually the biggest park here in Boyle Heights.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Mayor Garcetti was joined by several of his council colleagues in City Hall's Bradley Tower for the official signing of the 2021 budget. With help from the federal American Rescue Plan, this $11 billion budget is a big step forward in the recovery for Los Angeles.
This is not only the biggest budget I've ever had the honor of signing as mayor, it's the most progressive, with a total commitment of $1 billion going towards justice and opportunity and the long, hard work of correcting systemic inequities in our past. The same goes for our historic homelessness spending plan, with nearly $1 billion to deliver housing and services and support to our homeless neighbors. It's why we're dedicating $151 million in this budget from the federal American Rescue Plan towards programs and pilots to advance racial justice and economic progress.
I'm especially proud that we're investing $100 million in deferred maintenance in our parks and childcare in our parks.
My budget committee colleagues added another $165 million for things like utility assistance, childcare, and of course guaranteed basic income, which is going to be the largest program in the nation.
What I want to highlight as the chair of the Energy and Environment Committee is the $30 million investment in environmental equity.
I'm very proud that this budget includes significant investments on homelessness, which we desperately need.
This budget also allows us to address the pressing reality of increased violent crime in the city by a significant restoration of previous cuts to the LAPD, while also hiring and training new community intervention workers and reimagining the role of law enforcement in our communities.
This budget reflects such unprecedented investments in areas that we've never seen before. But what I hope we meet that moment with is the continued advancement of systemic change that will enable us to sustain these programs long term so that we can continue to uplift families across Los Angeles.
Have you gotten your vaccine yet? Council President Nuri Martinez wants to give her constituents in the East Valley every possible chance to make COVID history. She's a firm believer that the best way to get people vaccinated is by hitting the streets and taking the info door to door. We joined her in North Hills to check out Vax Up LA.
This community continues to have an issue to access to the vaccine. I think if we bring the vaccine to them, it's more likely that people will be vaccinated. Some of them don't have access to car, transportation. They just simply can't get a ride to a mega site. So the easier we make it for people to be able to get vaccinated, the better. Well, I'm just very proud of all the volunteers who are here with us this morning. They've been knocking on doors for days now, letting them know that we're going to be here in North Hills, and they're going to continue these efforts. We have a number of teams out during the day and into the weekend, just passing out correct information about the vaccine and the importance of getting vaccinated.
We wanted to knock on everyone's door in this community and come to where they are, let them know that the Mid-Valley YMCA is a permanent spot to get vaccinations, and also we have the LA Fire Department here today to give vaccinations on the spot for anyone who needs one. Some people do have concerns about immigration status and if they're eligible to get the vaccine. They are. No one is going to ask about immigration status. This is for everyone. Some people think that they need to be insured or they're going to be charged. There is no fee for vaccination. It is free for everyone.
Es muy importante la vacuna. No es una vacuna que va a curar el virus, que va a curar la enfermedad, pero sí que nos va a proteger.
To find out more about the council president's vaccine efforts, check out her website at nuri-martinez.com. Council member Ridley Thomas is on the same page as the council president. He wants people to get vaccinated, and he's taking to the streets to make it more accessible. We caught up with Ridley Thomas as he partners with Fulgent and McCarty Memorial Church for Vaccinate the Block.
Yes, things are getting better for some, but not for everyone. So this church, under the leadership of Pastor Edward Anderson, has taken itself seriously to do the work to help heal the community.
We're doing a Vaccinate the Block event. We know there's a lot of COVID hesitancy in our neighborhood. And so we created an event where we're giving out Pfizer and J&J as well as Moderna vaccine to the community. Anybody who wants it. COVID is still around. And now that the restrictions are being lifted, we don't want to see another spread or surge.
We cook every Sunday for church members and for the homeless. So it was important for me to get vaccinated so everybody could feel safe as we're preparing their food. I think this is awesome, and I think it's an amazing thing that our pastor here at the church is doing. For one, was to get the community involved, and for two, to help those who need to get vaccinated and hasn't yet.
Intergenerational, multi-racial. We're coming to say that we're going to be a healthy community, and we're going to start right here where we are. We are leaning in to what has to be a better day.
As the city prepares to fully reopen, we're starting to see community events that the pandemic denied us for over a year. Case in point, we met up with Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez in Mission Hills. Not only does she create a coalition of city and volunteer resources, but she gets in on the action cleaning up her district. Check it out.
The responsibility is shared for us to help create the kind of environment that we are all proud of. Today is the continuum of the Emerald Volunteer Corps. We started this effort because we had so many members of our community equally frustrated about the conditions of our neighborhoods. And the truth is, we need to be collaborators and partners with city resources and community volunteers to help aid in the sustaining of our cleanliness efforts here in our communities. This is just a continuum of an effort that we started several weeks ago in North Hills. We're here in Mission Hills today, and we're going to continue to roll out this effort across the district so that we can together sustain the progress in our neighborhoods.
Estoy aquí en parte de mi unión de Centros Laborers y estamos aquí para apoyar también aquí la Emmy Rodriguez y dar un poquito para atrás a la comunidad, para limpiar y pues para poner nuestro esfuerzo adelante y para enseñar aquí a la comunidad que aquí que sí nos importa y estamos aquí para ayudar.
I have grown up in the San Fernando Valley my whole life through all parts of the SanErnando Valley, so if I go and clean North Hills or Mission Hills, I've lived in these areas, so I feel really good about it. I feel like I'm cleaning up my home.
Me da un orgullo para saber que puedo ayudar y a limpiar con la comunidad, especialmente con tanta gente que también quiere lo mismo.
We just want to invite everyone to be a part of the solution and contact my office, volunteer, identify areas and opportunities in your own neighborhood to make a difference by simply calling 311 or reaching out to our office for additional efforts that we can deploy into your area.
Earlier in the show, Councilmember Krikorian spoke about the city's new budget providing much-needed funds for LA's parks. Many of our beloved open spaces had money deferred during the pandemic crisis. Well, he moves fast. We join the council member as he reopens Bellaire Avenue Park in North Hollywood, a small but beloved playground that was destroyed in a fire 9 months ago.
Thank you to all the parents, all the wonderful children who are here this afternoon to join us in the wonderful ribbon cutting of Bellaire Avenue Park. We are so thrilled to be welcoming families of this community back to their park. I would like to thank the community for their patience during the construction. and the men and women for the Department of Recreation and Parks who worked on this project.
A few months ago, sadly, there was a fire that burned this playground down. It was a huge blow to the community. So fortunately, the men and women of the Department of Recreation and Parks worked with my office to get it replaced in essentially no time. And so they were really able to get this up and running so that this community could once again enjoy the great benefits of this pocket park.
The parks means a lot, especially for the kids. And when we can just walk here, and we walk here, and the kids, they love it. Being outside in nature and having this playground nice and clean, it's just amazing.
Mitch O'Farrell wants to revitalize LA's live theaters. The Harbor shows off their new electric freight vehicles, and city planning and LA DOT have new ideas for sustainable mobility. These stories up next on CityBeat.
The future of heavy-duty trucking has arrived. 5 brand new Class 8 hydrogen-powered electric trucks made their debut at the Port of Los Angeles. This demonstration is part of the Shore to Store project, a supply chain transport that will utilize zero-emissions trucks and advanced technology. The purpose of this multi-year demonstration is to enhance capability, packaging, and performance while furthering the port's clean air action goals. For more information on the electric heavy-duty trucks, visit portoflosangeles.org. Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell knows the value of experiencing live theater performances. The councilmember and the Department of Cultural Affairs have formed an alliance to lend a hand to the arts community in CD13. Dubbed as the Theater Emergency Response Program, it was designed to come to the aid of small theaters, troupes, and venues that were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Up to 25 grants of $5,000 each will be awarded. Applications are currently open until July 2nd. For more information, visit culturela.org/calls. Los Angeles City Planning and LA DOT recently unveiled a series of proposed changes to the city's existing Transportation Demand Management Program. The new draft proposal outlines ways to reduce traffic congestion, increase safety and mobility, conserve energy, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. By creating more effective and renewable options for getting around the city, this proposal ultimately puts Angelenos in the driver's seat. This program is a pathway to walkable, bike-friendly, transit-rich communities that will benefit the environment, the economy, and the city of LA. For more info on upcoming public forums on the proposed changes, visit planning.lacity.org.
Have you heard of Denim Day? It's a day of action where people wear jeans to start a conversation about sexual violence in the United States. Maria Hall-Brown sits down with the founder of Denim Day, Patty Giggins, to discuss her life's work and how far we've come since her first Denim Day in 1999.
We believe that no one should go through the trauma and healing of a sexual assault or domestic violence alone. The causes of violence against women obviously has to do with sexism, it has to do with misogyny. So the more progress we make, we also discover that we have more progress to make. One of our themes this year for Denim Day is Believe Survivors.
They think that there is a really disorienting backstory to Denim Day, which goes along perfectly with what you're talking about victim blaming. So Denim Day began because
there was a case in Italy where a Supreme Court judge overturned a lower court's rape conviction. The judge decided that because she was wearing tight jeans, the only way that he could have gotten, the rapist could have gotten the jeans off was if she helped him. In Sacramento, our assembly and senators wore their jeans in solidarity with their cohort in Rome, and then I saw that on TV. And it was like a moment. And we should wear jeans in solidarity with that young woman in Italy as a way to attract attention to this issue.
Conversation leads to action, action leads to change, and I think that's what your organization has definitely been getting
right.
out
And
there.
what's so interesting, and it's been really helpful, is that media and movies and books in the last 10 years have taken on these issues more than they ever have in the past. And that's encouraging. That means the marketplace, the public sphere for talking about these issues is growing.
Up next, we take a trip to Boyle Heights and Hollenbeck Park for Family Day. Councilmember Kevin DeLeon holds a special event for 300 families as we get ready to fully open and get outdoors together. Check out the food, the dancing, and most of all, the sound of live mariachi music in our public spaces.
The Family Day, a carne asada and Family Day here at Hollenbeck Park. We decided to activate the space because Hollenbeck Park is actually the biggest park here in Boyle Heights and one of the only green spaces for our community here. So we decided to throw an event. We got the families out of there, families around the park, to try to activate the space again. And so, you know, make it be known that if you want to have a carne asada here, if you want to enjoy the park is going to start being open, you know, in June 15th, once California opens itself. It looks like about 300 families were able to enjoy enjoy the festivities today.
So I came here to support the community, to come and teach some Zumba class for this event. So, and I was so glad to come.
Es una combinación de eso de que se están abriendo las cosas y también para los que están aquí con nosotros y no tuvieran planes, aquí pueden festejar con nosotros. And now the mariachis that you guys hear behind you are taking it home for us. They're finishing it off.
The Los Angeles Police Department made large-scale arrests last month in a $15 million mortgage fraud scheme. If you're thinking, well, that could never happen to me, then you might need to check out this story to make sure you're keeping your financial security in tip-top shape.
Déjame empezar con decir lo que es el fraude. El fraude es, de acuerdo a la ley, el fraude es cuando una persona usa decepción intencional para agarrar las ganancias de otra persona sin permiso. Lo que los sospechosos hacían es que agarraban la identidad no solamente de personas común y corriente como usted y yo, sino que también agarraban la identidad de personas con incapacidades físicas, con personas que ya están difuntas y la gente que está en la cárcel. And they would take these identities to create shell corporations and to create emails, to create bank accounts. That combined with the false documentation they would create too. They would create fake tax documents, fake bank accounts, fake payroll statements. A lot of people become victims of fraud unintentionally. They'll do it by posting personal information on social media accounts. They will post not only their full name, their spouse's name, but they'll start linking their mother and their mother's maiden name. And it's really easy to figure out sensitive information for security questions through these methods. Another thing about online is when people order stuff online, they have a tendency to throw away their entire package with their name, address, and even the barcode on there. That barcode reveals a lot about the way that it was paid. So when people get those packages, they should shred them up. To anybody that's a victim of fraud, it is necessary for you to take these steps. First and foremost, report it to your local police department. With the LAPD, you could do it online. You could go to lapdonline.org and you can actually submit a report online. You don't even have to go to a police station. Once you have the report in hand, then contact your bank. And that will get you a little step ahead for them to start investigating on their end. The way that people would protect themselves is take steps. Take steps to not put out your personal information out there. Make sure that when you receive a package from something you've ordered online, make sure you shred that little label. It's tedious, but take the time to really look at your bank statement. Sometimes maybe 2 or 3 times a month.
look at where you've been, because your bank statements will include not only where you've been, but how much you've spent. But always make sure that you stay on top of your transactions for every credit card, for not only your primary bank account, but any credit card you have.
Did you know LA's Department of Rec and Parks has a digital workout series you can do from the comfort of home for free? Yes, it's free 99. We join Monica Benjamin and her fellow rec coordinators as they put together some of their latest exercise videos. Check it out.
Reconnect LA is all about virtual recreation. It can go from doing a workout at home or even at a park as we gradually open back up. So the beauty of Reconnect LA is when you can't come to the parks, we bring the parks to you. I'm able to work with people and change lives. So it's not just through the physical aspect, working with various communities in the city of Los Angeles, but also with our talent that we have on board with our program.
I got invited by Monica and one of my colleagues to kind of come out as an extra in one of the videos, and I really loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And then I got asked to do one myself, and I was all on board. I was like, absolutely. And then I got tasked with doing one in Spanish and then another one in Spanish, and the more the merrier, being able to open up more opportunities to different people and making sure that language barrier is broken was really important to me. So I was absolutely ecstatic when they asked me to do it. I was like, yeah, of course, let's do it.
I think the main objective for Rec Connect is to make sure that people are exposed to the rec centers at parks. Sometimes you might drive by this park and not realize what it has. Having a full equipment like this to work out outdoors instead of being indoors, I think this is an awesome opportunity for people to be outdoors, breathe the fresh air. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for everyone to come out and expose the parks and what the amenities it has.
When people see these videos, they see that we make mistakes. There's no perfect way to exercise. Just always be careful and be mindful of your body. Push it to its limit, but remember its limit, and just get your body moving. There's people out there that are trying to push you to better yourself physically. Now with it being broadcasted online on TV, there's no excuses. So it's just a better method to reach out to the community to get them involved.
I am used to teaching classes and I teach them all the time, but sometimes being on camera is a little bit more difficult because you don't know exactly what camera to look at or if you're seeing it right. But it's fun. It is fun, and I enjoy doing it with my coworkers.
I enjoyed it. I just had to keep myself going and just remember oh, okay, oh man, I'm on TV.
Did that get you interested? You can also check out Monica's live exercise shows on LA City View 35 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Capri Maddox, Executive Director of the new LA Civil Rights Department, sits down with our Maria Hall-Brown for a frank discussion about the challenges of confronting discrimination and what her department is doing to combat it. As Ms. Maddox says, it's about keeping the faith and keeping the fight.
Protecting Angelenos and anyone who works or visits here from discrimination. I am so thrilled to be joined today by the Executive Director of the Los Angeles Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department, Capri Maddox. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Maria. Glad to be here.
All right. It's an interesting department. It's just a little over a year old, but what exactly are the responsibilities of the Los Angeles Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department?
Maria, we are doing so many things as it relates to equity and inclusion in the city of Los Angeles. Really want to thank the mayor for, standing up this department along with the resources that City Council has given us. We saw intensity as it relates to hate crimes and discrimination in the last 5 years really spike. Our department is tasked with dealing with these discriminatory practices, particularly as it relates to the private sector in the areas of commerce, education, employment, and housing.
What kind of tools do you have that you can use to address all of these disparities, this discrimination, this inequity that needs to be fixed as fast as possible? What can you guys do?
So there are a few things. Of course, when we think about looking at things through the policy equity lens, we can weigh in as City Council moves forward and relies on our department to weigh in as it relates to policies they may be looking at. Anything from hiring within LAPD to planning decisions, like, how do we get rid of food deserts, for example. Other things that we can work on as it relates to housing is being sure that we are a voice to provide information to landlords. So thinking about the Apartment Owners Association of Greater Los Angeles, we can weigh in, we can do a training to provide equity in that space and to make sure that housing opportunities are equal for all residents here in Los Angeles.
If people want to get information about what's going on, where they can help, what's the best way to do that?
Well, they can find us online at civilandhumanrights.lacity.org.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I can't wait to hear all the progress that's being made, because I'm sure it's going to be profound in a very short period of time.
Thank you, Maria. Keep the faith and keep the fight.
Get some eco tips from green girl Leah Thomas. See the portraits and stories behind identity. Or check out a tour of LAPL's multimedia Octavia Lab. All this up next on Things to Do.
The LA Public Library invites you to a lecture led by green girl Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas is a self-identified environmental activist and eco-communicator. Her work examines the intersection between social justice and environmentalism. Join the discussion of how we can all make the world more equal while treating the planet better. Be sure to check out Green Girl Leah Thomas. This virtual program is part of the LAPL's acclaimed LA Made series. It can be seen on the library's YouTube channel and Facebook page Thursday, June 17th at 4 p.m. The LA Department of Cultural Affairs invites you to explore Timothy Greenfield Sanders' identity, The List Portraits. The online exhibition contains a collection of video lectures from the Trans List. The interview series is a study of race, gender, class, sexuality, and ethnicity in America. This virtual exhibition is one in many from the online archives of the Annenberg Space for Photography. To check it out, visit annenbergphotospace.org. The LA Public Library is now offering a virtual tour of the Octavia Lab. This 3,000 square foot intergenerational DIY studio space houses impressive new technologies like 3D printers, a recording booth, a laser cutter, and much more. The lab was named for the trailblazing science fiction writer Octavia E. Butler. This event is part of LAPL's Octavia E. Butler celebration. Don't miss your opportunity to check out the Octavia Lab Tour, happening Friday, June 18th at 4 p.m. For a link where you can register, visit lapl.org/events. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.